months and months. Could you please find it in your heart to ship it to him? And he agreed that okay, fine, I'll ship it. But he wanted over $100 just to ship it. And then Mary Vitelli reached out to me. She said, I'm going to be over in that area in a couple of days. You want me to go pick that up for you? And I said, heck yeah. So I've got, I reached out to the guy again and paid for the clock. And Mary picked it up the day before yesterday and put it in the mail for me yesterday. And the nice thing about that is because she's a clock person, she's gonna pack it very carefully. It was exceptionally inexpensive because the prior owner dropped it and broke a lot of the marble. So I've got the next thing in my list of things to learn is how to repair marble, and that'll be a great adventure. I did not finish the story about the clock that I grew up with. My mother sent it to me about 2 years ago, and asked me if I could repair it. And I had it up and running. At that point, I had learned enough about cuckoo clocks that I had it up and running within about an hour. And it was missing the topper. It had damage to the front frame. It had pieces missing. The pendulum was missing. And so I taught myself how to carve so I could carve a new topper for it, and made a nice pendulum for it. Did what needed to be done to it, and then sent it back to my mom. So she's got the clock that her uncle brought back from Germany, hanging back in her bedroom, and it's back where it belongs. And I couldn't be happier. Outside of clocks, I have 6 kids, and I have hosted exchange students for over 20 years. I work full time as a technical writer. And then on my own, I'm the most prolific novelist of the American Revolution. I've got 15 books that I've written, 14 currently in print, number 15 is in process. And I keep very busy with that. And then I also I run a small publishing house. So I've got a small handful of other authors who I publish. And I'm an advanced amateur astronomer. I do home brewing. The clock thing. I stay out of trouble. What can I say?
Lars is being modest. He also has a YouTube channel that I hope that everybody joins.
No, I don't have a YouTube channel. You're thinking somebody else.
You don't have a YouTube channel?
No, I've got a YouTube channel, but I don't have anything on it. And if I put anything on it, it'll be related to my writing.
Oh, okay. I know I saw some plants and stuff on your YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, no, that was something I did for work a long time ago. I was I used to be an independent web designer.
Oh, okay.
So I've got a background in technology. So that was a client that I had done some work for.
Well, Lars,
thank
you for introducing yourself.
You betcha.
The next person I would like for introduce himself, he joined late, but William Bond, please raise your hand. William collects Beha clocks, and he's one of our group experts with Beha clocks. And William, please tell us about yourself.
Not much. I'm not as interesting. I don't have a ton. Let's see here. I'm a master mechanic for Acura. That's what I do for my day job. I've worked on cars almost my whole life. I've worked for Lexus, Chevrolet for a while, but I've been with Acura the longest. I've been with them for about 15 years total. So that's what I do for my main job. I got into clocks, and I always loved cuckoo clocks. I used to go with my grandmother yard sailing, and they'd always be in yard sales, and most of the time people wouldn't take care of them, and they sell for next to nothing. And used to beg her to buy me a cuckoo clock here and there, and they'd run for a while and quit running, and I was into them for a while, and I kind of stopped for years. and then I found the antique world, which I really didn't realize existed, and it just kind of sucked me right back in. And I, unfortunately, if you collect any kind of antique clock, you always run into the con men before you run the good men. And I fell into that same trap. Don't want to mention any names, but I did run into somebody that got over on me on a couple of clocks pretty well, and made some other friends because of that, and just started collecting BHOT clocks. I tried to find them on, like most people, auction houses, eBay. I had bought clocks from Hubert Forschhorn. If you guys know who he is, he's a direct descendant of BHOT. He lives in Germany, and he runs the Eisenbach clock here every year. That's about it. Just pretty novice restorer. I don't consider myself an expert. Just got a lathe, trying to, do my own pivots and stuff like that. Do have a professional that I'm working with, trying to learn the trade better, and it's something I'd like to transition into later on, because you can't do the mechanic stuff forever. That's about it, really.
People, thank you, William, for introducing yourself. And if you talk to clock collectors and clock repair people, some of the best clock repair people out there were previously car mechanics and mechanics, because they configure things out on a car by themselves, so they make really good clock repair people.
Right, I've heard the same thing.
Would you not agree with that, Jeff?
Well, I was a diesel mechanic, but I guess that's close enough for 50 years.
Okay, so like I said, if you're a mechanic, Julie.
Dealership for 30 years.
We were playing with clocks and lost track of time.
Okay. Well, William, thank you for that introduction, and Julie, you're gonna have to wait your turn, but please turn your microphone off until I introduce you, please. Bob, ding, raise your hand. Bob, please tell us about yourself. Bob is another moderator in my group. He took on the task of becoming a moderator. Bob, you're going to have to unmute your microphone in order to talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a medical technologist by trade, so we're used to doing things very precisely. One part in a million is sort of important in some of our analysis. So I like detail work. And I started collecting cuckoo clocks back in the 60s. And of course, like most collectors, I started collecting very ordinary cuckoo clocks. And then I was just very lucky to find a couple of trumpeter clocks. And one trumpeter, it trumpets on the hours, and then the cuckoo calls the quarter hours. And then the other is just a 2-note trumpeter, very simple, but still, unusual to have a trumpeter. And the other really nice one I have is a table cuckoo quail clock. So it's a Fusee, and I'm not sure if who exactly the makers are. I mean, it could be a Beha or Worley. I don't know. But they're to me they're great clocks with their incredible carvings and so forth. I have probably 75 cuckoos, everything from vintage 50-year-old clocks to, the few that are antique. I probably only have 10 antique ones from the late 1800s and early 1900s, and so most of mine are, you know, from the 60s and 70s. I do have some more recent ones, and of course, I have some battery cuckoo clocks, which I know some people hate, but I'm one of those people that I sort of enjoy things for what they are. They're sort of fun. They're very kitschy, but they still cuckoo. So anything that cuckoos or makes music, like music boxes, I really like. So I have missed over the years at auction some really great old music boxes. You know, something with what's it? Interchangeable barrels, chime barrels that probably have. Oh, I'm trying to think how many times they'll have. I can't really recollect, but you know, the combs are generally about 20 inches long.
Wow.
So those are big ones, and so a few years ago, generally, you know, they run around, you know, 10, 15,000 on a good day. And one I missed was, well, I was gonna say this 8,000. So, you know, still slightly out of my price range, but it's nice to look at. So you know, basically, I try to do as much restoration as I can myself, and what I can't do, I sort of leave alone, because I don't ever want to do anything that will make it difficult for someone else who has the expertise to do the perfect carving or make the perfect restoration part to do. So I will just leave it, and that's okay with me.
Bob's
And-
somewhat of an artist too. He makes stuff. It's kind of like would it be correct to say a comedy artist, Bob?
I do anything that I think is creative. You know, everything from sewing to wood sculpture to painting. So, you know, I do it well enough that it entertains me and entertains some friends. Of course, some people look at it and go, "Oh my God, what in the world are you doing?" But that's okay with me. I enjoy it. I enjoy the creative part of doing things. And if I don't have the skill level to do something, I sort of set it aside, and then I'll get back to it at some other point. You know, I don't have a deadline because I'm not doing commissions. Well, sometimes I do commissions, but you know, they're gifts for friends. But you know, that's me. And sorry, but I have to run, so the day's come up. So nice to see and hear from the ones I was able to see. But so bye.
Well, Bob, thank you for that introduction.
Okay, bye-bye.
Julie, please introduce yourself.
Hi there, so I'm Julie, and I always loved clocks. Even when I was a little kid, I would see them in other people's homes, and I would just think, I want one of those. And I started collecting clocks myself when I was a young adult. And I've got my husband sitting next to me right now, playing with a clock that Mary told us to go get.
She went dumpster diving today. Oh, I take that back. The guy that she bought the clocks off of went dumpster diving, and he goes dumpster diving, and he finds stuff and he sells stuff to subsidize his Social Security income. And I told her she needed to find out which dumpsters he goes through so we can go dumpster diving.
Apparently goes to the ones that are behind the auctions. And whatever doesn't get auctioned ends up in the dumpster.
Yeah, I've gone through some flea markets, local flea markets, and I've picked up some really nice stuff out of the dumpsters at local flea markets that couldn't sell. I picked up an antique tabletop out of a dumpster one day and gave it to a neighbor to build a table. All it needed was legs, but
You know what? Another man's trash is another man's treasure, right?
exactly. But Julia's been modest. She's got some beautiful clocks that she's been posting. And William, I meant to tell you that I would like for you to post some videos of your Beha clocks.
Oh, sure, yeah, I can do that. I got some I can post. Yeah, I just bought I found an eye out of in Germany.
And William, please educate us when you do post these videos, explaining to us, because I couldn't tell you from a Beha clock to a GK clock. So please educate us when you post these videos why it's a Beha clock and how you tell a Beha clock from a regular clock.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Great. Julie, are you done talking? Are you done introducing yourself?
Well, this is my husband, Kevin. He is my partner in crime.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
He did the driving today on the bad, snowy, icy roads so that we could go and get these 2 3/4 clocks from the dumpster diver man.
and that, the one on the left, we got out of the dumpster today, and it's running. Wow.
Unfortunately, I can't see it because you'll have to post it to the group because my screen is blocking your screen. Maybe I can move my screen. I don't know. I might
If you
mess.
scroll,
Okay, I see it now.
yeah, this one here, it's a tall clock.
It's an emperor
It's an emperor. I mean, it's working. It's missing the hood though,
and the door.
and the door.
Yeah, but
It's working.
how much did you pay for it? That is the big question right there.
0.
Well, Kevin tossed the man $20.
I tossed him $20 for it, but he was selling the other 2 clocks for $10 each, and then we saw that one.
Now, wouldn't y'all love to go dumpster diving for $10 a piece and find a working clock?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? That was worth the drive. How far of a drive did you all have to do today to pick up those clocks?
An hour.
Now, Ron, wouldn't you love to drive an hour to pick up beautiful clocks like that for $10 a piece?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know I would.
Figured out what to do with the other one yet. It's kind of odd looking, but let me go get it and I'll show you guys. Maybe one of you will know more about it than I do.
There's some experts on this group, and I'm sure that they would tell you more than I don't consider myself an expert, even though a lot of people do. I don't consider myself an expert. I'm a clocksmith in training.
Who isn't?
So, we haven't played with this one at all yet, nor have I cleaned it up.
That's a pretty clock. It looks like it's the top of a clock.
It looks like a hurling. It's actually a mantle. It's a mantle clock. It's got feet on it.
It's made to look like the top of a grandfather.
Right.
It is a New England clock, Farmington, Connecticut.
Ron was starting to mention something. Go ahead, Ron. Speak up, please.
I noticed as they turned it around, it looked like a firmly movement in it, back of it.
Jeff, what do you say?
I say it looks
looks like a Hermele, and I'd say it's probably from around the 1970s.
Okay.
Well, there you go. There you go.
I went to the mantle clock. I wasn't gonna leave this one behind, but it's got a movement that I've never seen before. So someone's gonna have to end up helping us out. I think it's probably missing some movements, but
Well, Julie's a school nurse, and she stepped up to the plate when I asked for more moderators. Again, I will not speak why I wanted more moderators when the time is right, and I know there's a lot of people thinking, what is wrong with Mark? There's not a thing wrong with Mark, except for I smoke about a pack and a half of cigarettes every day, and my children wish I'd quit, but there's nothing wrong with me. I just want more people to help me out in the group, and I will explain everything when the time is right. We do have some more people that we need to introduce. So, Aaron, please introduce yourself. Aaron, you're going to have to turn your microphone back on.
There we go. I'm still learning this thing.
That's all right.
Okay, so I guess, I don't know, best place to start off with, I guess, I really got started in clocks probably about 5 years ago. My dad was cleaning out a relative's basement, and he brought me an old wall clock, and I thought it was kind of neat. I kind of like clocks, mechanical things. I was a journeyman electrician for 15 years, and then worked my way into hospital as an electrician, then took over the mechanical end of the hospital. Became the lead mechanic, and they decided they needed to cut people from the list. Well, my helper mechanics were gone, that just left me with everything.
Aaron, what is your last name? Is your last name Kurlitz?
Yeah, yep.
Everybody, this is Sean Barnes' cousin. The real Sean Barnes, okay? And Aaron, I met him a couple years ago, and I bought the East Meckenbecker church clock off of Aaron that he probably wishes he wouldn't have sold it to me for as cheap as what he did.
I do now.
But Aaron's a really terrific guy. He has a small engine business, and him and Sean, I was joking earlier yesterday or today, I think that they, in a previous life, they both built clocks for a living, because when they tear down clocks and put them back together, they are beautiful. Aaron does a terrific job at rebuilding clocks. Again, being a mechanic, you make really good clock repair people. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's fine. And it just takes time once you start to get to learn and you're getting into them. Everybody's got to start off somewhere. You get that one clock and go from there. And, like I said, for about 4 years, I didn't do nothing but really collect clocks. It's basically a way for me and the wife to get out and hit all the antique stores and basically get away from the kids for the day, And then I started bringing them home, and when I first started getting into clocks, every time I saw something that looked neat, I thought I had to have it. Well, regardless to say, I was buying a lot of expensive junk that should have just stayed where it was at. And over the next 4 years, got to know what's what, and got rid of the bad stuff at yard sales or whatnot, kept the better stuff. And on that note, like I said, the first clock my dad had brought to me from a relative's basement, an old single weight wall clock, time only. It ended up being a Noah Pomeroy wall regulator single weight from 1865. So that's really how I got started.
You'll have to post a video of that clock to the group.
Yeah, I got it hanging on my wall. I don't have the painted face dial on it. But I kind of like seeing the small little movement and stuff. But I don't know, it's probably about 4.5 foot long, maybe 5, about a foot and a half wide. It's not real ornate, but it's kind of neat. It's got the Noah Pomeroy tag on the inside of it and everything, so that's kind of neat. And then other than that, that's about it. Just collecting clocks over the few years and tearing them apart and breaking them, and then learn how to fix them and get them all back together. And that's about it. Like some of the clocks you see behind me, these are just clocks I'm currently working on. I mean, the one behind the bench here I got done, but and then another one over my other shoulder I got done. But out of about, I got close to about 90 clocks now. I think I had over 100 for a while, but out of the 90 clocks I got, I would probably say 3/4 of them still need to be restored or rebuilt.
Right.
Sorry, my car's going dead here.
You got some beautiful clocks, that's for sure.
Yeah, but a lot of them didn't start out that way. They're pretty messed up.
Right. But you know,
like the one behind me, it was all black, and it was the dial wasn't on it, and it didn't have the pendulum. Of course, that's not the original glass, but it looks nice for the pendulum and all that. But
and
it's just a matter of finding parts. And what I always hated about it was buying parts, and then you scavenge parts off of good clocks to make a better clock, and then you got more parts clocks than what you really need.
well, it's nice to have a cousin right down the street from you who works on clocks professionally for a living also.
Yeah, he stays pretty busy. I don't go down there very often, but usually if I'm looking for a special French part or a foot off of a French clock or a bezel or something, usually he's got something laying around in his little parts area, and I can go pilfer in his area. So sometimes it helps.
Right. Well, we have one more person to introduce, and that is Donna, who has been hanging out ever since we started. So, Donna, please introduce yourself. You're gonna have to turn your microphone on, Donna.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, there you are.
I'm not an expert with any clocks. I have one, and I got it from a yard sale. And I remember growing up, my grandma had one, and it was like it had grapes on it with a fox, and that's all I remember of it. And I just loved that clock. And
The
so
Grapes
I
and
always
Fox
wanted
Cuckoo
to-
Clock, the very collectible clock.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I don't know, but I love that thing, and so I ended up with this one here. It doesn't work, but it's really cute. So it just hangs on my wall until it gets fixed.
Right. Well, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there to help you fix a clock, but you have to. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there that will help you destroy your clock also. So you need to pick and choose the right videos.
Yeah, my husband is gonna fix it for me and get it working. Eventually, I guess. I don't know. But until then, I like looking at it.
Right.
And
right.
You guys are also really interesting people. It's all I do is decorate cakes and do artwork. That's what I do.
Okay, great.
But
well,
that's all I got.
well, we were supposed to have 18 people. Not everybody showed up. Life gets in the way of plans, and that's just the way it goes. And so, like I was telling you, a lot of people want me to repair clocks. I don't want to repair people's clocks. I want to get my clocks up and running. And then later on in life, I might start repairing people's clocks for a business. But I'm going to open up the floor to people who have questions for the experts, or people who might want to add something else.
I wanted to ask William what a beha is, or what it looks like.
Beha?
Yeah, beha.
William, you're going to have to turn your microphone back on.
Should I turn mine off?
Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Let me see here. I'll show you a couple that I have downstairs. Beha, Johann Baptist Beha is just a maker. and he's known for a lot of the first and cuckoo clocks. Like he's attributed with putting the bird in the cuckoo house first, perfecting the cuckoo echo, a lot of different firsts, and the carvings are pretty exceptional. They're pretty nice. I'd say him and Ketter are two of my favorite as far as cuckoo clocks go. But I'll show you a couple that I got downstairs. I have some more upstairs. I'll show you those. My kids are up there and they're lost their minds tonight. So let me get this camera turned around. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is a Beha right here. This is a cuckoo quail. It's a rare complication because it has a quail call on the half hour and a cuckoo on the full. So if you do let me get up here and try to do this. So to do the quail call on the half and then a full cuckoo on the full hour. And then this is a Beha Cuckoo Echo. I restored this thing. This thing was pretty much a junk box. And I had a guy that I know make dials. I had to replace the numerals, the hands, that kind of thing. And you'll see why it's called an Echo. So it has an echo call.
Very beautiful.
That's kind of neat. This one I'm working on, this is a 671 Beha. It's old, probably 1850s hot-ish. I have some more upstairs. Oops.
William, you could post those to the group later, video and explaining.
Those are very beautiful. Thank you for showing them to me.
And I don't want you to have to. I think we lost him.
Yeah, I know I made him run around too much. I'm sorry.
One last thing. Can we go around the room? I live in Donovan. I live in Donovan, Missouri. Can we go around the room and tell everybody where we live? Steve, where do you live?
Ozark, Missouri, just south of Springfield, Missouri.
Donna, where do you live?
Michigan. I live about 15 minutes outside of Detroit.
Lars.
I am just outside of Portland, Oregon.
All right. Jeff.
I'm just outside of San Antonio, Texas, in a town called Converse, Texas.
That was my first duty station, San Antonio, Texas. I worked Medina Air Force Base, which is it used to be the training annex for the OTC, and that's where in Air Force basic training you go shoot your M16. They supported Lackland Air Force Base. But Ron, where do you live?
Dixon, Missouri, just south of Springfield, Missouri.
Julie, where do you live?
I live in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is about halfway between Philadelphia and Lancaster.
Aaron, where do you live? Aaron, you gotta turn your microphone back on.
There we go. So it kind of sounds like I'm in the middle of everybody. I actually want to live where Julie's at. She's in the